Hey YouTube, it's after midnight, so now it is Friday, February 15th, 2019, and I come home to find out that our our representatives up there in Washington are all for making it illegal to say anything bad about Israel. Anti-BDS is going to make it illegal to speak out against the people. Against they. So once it's illegal, they can do whatever they want, and we can't say nothing because then they could put us in prison. Do you understand that? Freedom is not that. Alright? If we were a free society, we should not let this happen. But our elected officials are letting it happen because they are overwhelmingly for it. Why? Because they are they. That's them. They sold their souls for a couple dollars, a little bit of fame, and a ticket on a bus. They got to ride on the boat, and we don't. They're getting on the ark, and we're not. Alright? I don't just pick out people for no reason. You argue with me constantly that I'm just making this shit up, but you won't take 10 minutes. 10 minutes to check and see if any of this shit is true. And I can't tell you where to look. I send you the videos and then go look. Read it. The video's not going to give you every word. You got to read it. Think about what the hell it's saying. Our elected officials and our unelected officials are putting us in a coffin. And nobody sees it. There's this guy from Tennessee, the senator from Tennessee. He's saying that we have to pass this law for national security reasons. We have to pass a law to make them like they're on base at all time. They have a walking base card. You know, you can't tag them out. They're on base at all times, even when they're walking in between them. You know, we're saying Marco. They don't have to say Polo. They could just swim around. You can call fish out of water and everything. Ain't going to matter. They're just going to sit in their thing because there's nothing you can do. They'll sit in their chair because you can't do nothing about it. We got a big shipment of military vehicles to Wilkes-Barre. Right? It's not a defense. You don't have all that equipment for defense. You have it for offense. They're talking about the mass shooting in the Pittsburgh synagogue, right? It was the largest loss of Jewish life in American soil ever in history. But it wasn't supposed to be. Alright? It was, but guess what was supposed to be? 9/11. That was supposed to be the largest loss of Jewish life, but it wasn't. You know why? Because a lot of them were sick that day. They didn't make it to work that day. 4 Israeli citizens died that day. Shame. They shouldn't have died. Absolutely. It's absolutely a shame that they did die. However, there were supposed to be 400 Israeli citizens in that building that day. The estimate's roughly around 400. Al Franken, the senator from, Missouri or Minnesota? The senator from Minnesota said, I got the Jew call on the 23rd day of whatever the Jewish month is. I don't know the Hebrew language, so it's whatever it was. It was the 23rd day of that Hebrew month. And the ex-mayor of New York, Ed Koch, is the one who called him on the phone and said, hey, don't go to work on the 23rd of whatever. Al Franken said it. He said, and I quote, I got the Jew call. Now, let me explain something, because nobody's looking into it. Nobody's thinking about it this deeply. Now, that has to be true. It has to be a true story. Because if it were not true, they would have killed him. Because if it's not true, and he says that, it's going to have all the conspiracy theorists going after them, looking at them a little closer. If it were not true. Now, if it is true, he's safe. Because now if something does happen to him, because he spilled the beans, everybody's going to know and they're going to be pointed at him. He's still alive. The fact that he's alive proves that that was true. He got the Jew call. His words. Think about it. If he didn't really get the Jew call, and it wasn't a true story, and those 400 Israeli citizens just happened to miss work that day, if all the coincidences were absolutely coincidences, they'd have killed his ass. Because all those coincidences on top of that, and now they have to deal with a senator coming out and saying it, and implicating a former mayor of the Big Apple, they'd have killed his ass. He's still alive. Because it was true. Do you understand? You got to know the mob mentality. Quieter's better. Well, saying that ain't quiet. But when you say it in the media, it's exponentially loud. And a lot of people hear it. So that puts you in a bad position. Because they want to kill you for saying it, but if they kill you, everybody's going to know it was true. Think about it. You're not thinking far enough into it. But that's it. I'm telling you, that's the key to it right there. That phone call and Al Franken saying that. And the fact they can't find any parts of any airplanes, and the parts they do find aren't parts of the airplanes that supposedly flew into them buildings. Alright? I don't know what brought them planes down, or if there was planes, or what's going on. I'm undecided on if they were planes or if they were holograms and being projected around a smaller drone with some kind of explosive device. I don't know. I'm undecided. One thing I'm sure of is that was a controlled demolition after that explosion. And I'm also sure that a whole shitload of Christians and Catholics and non-denominationals died that day. Not as many American Jews and only 4 Israeli citizens. And I'm fairly confident that Muslims had nothing to do with it. Well, I can tell you what, those 19 Muslims they claimed didn't do it. Because 7 of them are still alive and U.S. citizens now. They were here on temporary visas. One of them, at the time, was in class at NYU. He was in class at NYU while he was also hijacking an airplane and crashing it into a trade center. I'm making this up. Check it out. Look at it. He was in class at NYU. And they're broadcasting him on the news that he's hijacking airplanes. And they never recanted. They still have the same 19 pictures out there. That's the history. That's the history of the United States right there being printed. It's still those 19 faces in the books. And none of them were on them planes. If there were planes, I don't know. I saw it and I talked to people that were actually there and saw a plane. They said they saw a plane. I have to believe that human being. I trusted that human being. I looked in that human being's eyes. That person saw a plane. He saw a plane, man. So I don't know if it was a hologram, and because it was going fast. He said it was going fast. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I was in prison. Reading. Learning. Well, you got the Jew call. You know? Who benefited from it? Who got the money? The Jews. The Jesuits and the Jews. Not the Jews, sorry, not just the Jewish people. It's not the Jewish people. The Jewish, I have Jewish friends. They're alright dudes, man. You know what I mean? It's not that's not what it is. It's the Israels, the Zionist Israelites. They're not us. They're not. They're all about end times prophecy. They're trying to bring the Moshiach out now, the Messiah. They want the end times. That's what they want. They're cooking the world. They're microwaving fish in the river. Fish are floating to the top, microwave. They're freaking cooked. Cooked fish are floating to the top. What the fuck? They got some shit, man. They got some weapons. Look at all this crazy shit that's going on. 29 houses blow up in one day in Boston for no reason. Oh, power company. Yeah, they're frying transformers with the microwaves. And the barium, strontium, and all the aluminum oxide in the air. You know, you can carry a current through all those metals. You know this? You know, they could charge the air, and there's so many nanoparticulates of metal in the air, they could just fry us. It's okay. They're calling it geoengineering. They have to cool it down because of global warming and climate change. It's colder than it's been in 20 years. It's colder than it's been. This 20-year period is colder than it's been since we started keeping records of the weather. This is the coldest 20-year period, on average. How the hell are you telling me that we're overheating and we have to block the rays of the sun? If it's colder now, well, then the sun's already blocked. We're good. No, they need to block it more. Why? Because then nothing will grow. They're all about the end times. Either it's really the end times or they're going to make it look like the end times. They don't care if it's really the end times or not. They're going to make it the end times. I don't know if it's your time to die, but guess what? If I pull out the gun and shoot you, it's your time. That's what they're doing. And nobody seems to get it. You got people paying good money to go sit down in an audience for a convention and look up and watch this PhD doctor stand up there and tell you all the truth. And then you look at his name and he's a doctor. He's got a PhD in astrobiology. Astro, up in the stars. Biology, the study of life. Astrobiology. He is an expert in studying things that we don't know if they exist. How are you an expert in something we don't know if it exists or not? Because last time I checked, We didn't find no life out there. But you're an expert in it. You're an expert in something that don't exist yet. You're an expert in something that you've never seen. You're an astrophysicist, but you've never been to space. That's what you're telling me? You're an expert on the environment of space, having never been there. No. You're an astronaut. Naught, N-A-U-T. Astro-naut. Naught doesn't mean zero. Naught means there's nothing. A void. There is a void. Means no existence. That's what naught means. Does not exist. Nothing in existence. Naught. The world was naught. And then God said, let there be light. Astro-naut. Cosmonaut. Naught does not mean zero. It means the absence of anything. That does not mean a vacuum. And that does not mean the great void of space. No. It means no existence. Astra, no existence. Astro does not exist. That's what astronaut means. And cosmonaut means. It means they don't exist. They put it right in your face and you don't break the word down. Words are weapons. Words are spells. That's why you have to sit in your hearing and listen to it and have somebody read your rights. Your rights. Right? And somebody spells in cursive. Cursive. They're spelling in cursive and casting their sentence down upon you. Words are real and they do have power. If words didn't have power, remember the person who said those things to you when you were a little kid that hurt your feelings? How unpowerful are words then? Alright? Words don't have no powers and energies. Well, I'll tell you what, when you're a little kid, words are sharper than knives. And all of you will agree. Well, guess what? All we are is the accumulation of everything we've touched, tasted, smelled, felt, heard, and seen since the day we were born. That's what we are. We don't leave the 1-year-old behind. He comes with you. The 2-year-old comes with you. All that shit's imprinted on you. You may not draw on it often, that you're aware of, but you're never endingly drawing upon it. Read Piaget. He's a good child psychologist, psychiatrist. He's got some good writing, really. He deals with the attachment theory. It's pretty cool. Anyway, the world is real, but the story we've been given is not. I'm Tuck, and that's the way I see it.